It was stupid. Wine told herself that for the 75th time tonight as she held her purse tightly advancing towards Jungkook's room. She shouldn't have agreed to this at all. She cursed at herself again. It was her invention. Apparently, cursing at herself somehow calms her down. It was just one night. She could handle it right. Her friend had assured her that her brother Jungkook, the notorious mafia boss, wasn't as terrifying as his reputation suggested. He's a little intense, Sana had said with a sheepish smile. As if Wine had seen him all these times whenever she visits Sana. He's a man with dominating aura, pitch black eyes, and a cut on his cheek which scares her half to death. Being alone with him in this huge Ufa home at night, craziest part of her life. She felt sick. Sana was out of city, so she asked Wine a favor to check up on her brother. Wine, I mean, not even a doctor. Why did I agree to this? Wait, why did I not suggest her to call a doctor? Ah, I'm an idiot. She cursed herself again. With a deep breath, she pushed the door open, the dim light from the hallway spilling into the dark room, the faint scent of expensive cologne, and something very Jungkookish filled her senses as she stepped inside. On the massive bed in the center of the room, Jungkook laid under a single blanket, which in fact only covered half his body. He was not even wearing a shirt. His hair stuck to his forehead, they were full with sweat, and so was the rest of his body. As she reached the bedside, his eyes fluttered open. Even in that state, he looked like a panther ready to tear you apart. Take who sent you? Wyan. A nicer way to greet is by saying hello. He quietly stared at her soul. Wyan sighed. Wyan, your sister asked me to check on you. Take I don't need a babysitter. Wyan, can't help it. I'm already here and you take this. She extended some pills and held a glass of water in other hand. Jungkook groaned, turning his head away like a stubborn child. Take later. Wyan, no, now. Take what are you? My mother? Or maybe my wife? He smirked as he met eyes. Wine was taken aback at those expressions. Ah, the fever must have got into his head. Take fine. Be my wife, I'll take them. Wine. Oh, the fever got to your head so quickly. I didn't know you were this weak. Jungkook took the medicine since, of course, she won this one. He found her interesting. It was fun to tease her because he knew he was always getting a remark in return, not like other people who are always whimpering under his feet out of fear. Zeke, happy, Miss Wifey? He muttered after swallowing the wine. For now. she said, trying to ignore the effect that wifey word had on her. She checked his temperature. It was quite high. He needed to have proper rest. Wine. I'll get you some soup. It will help you heal. She turned, but a strong hand wrapped around her wrist, stopping her in his tracks. It's okay. Stay. Wine. What? Her heart skipped a beat as her eyes shifted to his. Take it. I'm cold. Wine. Soup will help you warm up. It won't take long. Jungkook cut her in between. Zeke, I don't need soup. Tugged her gently, and before she could protest, she found herself sitting on the edge of the bed. His fevered skin radiated heat, but he still shivered slightly. His grip firm, but not forceful. He murmured again, asking her to stay, pulling her closer until she was laying beside him. His arms wrapped around her like it was the most natural thing in the world. She froze, her mind racing. This way Jungkook, the same man whose name made grown man tremble, and yet here he was, clinging to her like she was his lifeline. Zeke, you're warm, he mumbled, his voice softer now as he snuggled in her neck. Wine's heart was going crazy, and she only prayed he won't find out. Her discomfort faded as she felt his shivering had stopped. She sighed, brushing a hand through his hair. She didn't understand why this was happening, but it calmed her heart. Everything suddenly felt warm, cozy. It was like a lover's hug on the coldest night. Wine, you're lucky you're sick, she whispered, trying to find an excuse to hide how she had completely surrendered to those feelings waking up inside of her. Wine, otherwise I'd never let you get away with this. It's okay. Am I supposed to say yes, wifey? He caught onto her lie just like that. Wine, are you going to say yes to everything I say? It's okay. You can wife your way through everything. Trust me. He looked up at her, his eyes as if they were drunk. Not as she looked at him up this close, she realized they were not pitch black, but instead they were brown, filled with warmth that felt like home. Wine, I don't believe it. That you can lose to fever enough to talk this way. You're doing this on purpose. Why are you teasing me this way? Jungkook pulled back, yet kept his arms around her, not letting her move even an inch away from him. JK, and if I say for the first time I'm not teasing you, I mean them, every word. You can. Wife your way through anything. Just try. You'll find me on my knees before a woman whom I make my queen. One felt her legs losing strength, as if her soul was getting sucked out of her. She didn't have energy to process those words, let alone reply him. It's okay, deny it. Tell me being here in my arms doesn't make you give in. One curled her fist against his chest, even as a lie she wanted to deny it, but she couldn't. The only thing that she could manage was to avert her gaze, yet she failed in that as well. He held her chin, turned her to face him, and leaned closer to her. She stopped breathing in that moment. They were close enough to kiss just by a slight movement. Seike, this favor saved you, he whispered in the most tempting voice before he placed his lips at the corner of her lips and left to kiss there. It was so intense for Wine she could lose her conscience there, or maybe she prayed for it to happen. Wine, it's you who is lucky for having fever. You didn't ask for my consent. Zeke, my apologies. I'll be doing that a lot. She gasped and pushed him slightly, earning a laugh out of him. That was one drunk laugh, which made her fall deeper into the abyss she was never going to get out of. Wine, you won't. She gave into that laugh. His soft silence fell, and so she could actually hear the loud beating of his heart. She never thought anything could have that effect on his heart, but she did. Once he took her in his arms and she snuggled in her neck again, he held her as if he was never going to let her go, and he always fulfilled his promise.